Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Rune Words! Rune Words! Today we're going to be looking at a very interesting rune word, which is the rune word Oath. Oath is ShaelPulMalLum. Not very expensive. It's really not. Pul, Mal, and Lum are all moderately expensive. I think the most expensive one there is the Mal rune. And honestly, Lum runes are easier to come by. So really, we're only looking at the Pul and the Mal rune as the moderately difficult runes to come by. And you definitely would not compare a Mal rune to a Jaw rune in rarity, because they're just not that rare. So keep that in mind. We do have an Indestructible mechanic on this particular weapon with an increased attack speed of 50%, so it's definitely something that you would like to make in an ethereal item. Now, why in particular do I have this in a phase blade? I think it's because I was just... honestly, I think it's just because I was just slapping runes and things, and I must have forgotten. So let's go over to the website, and I want to take a look at this rune word together, and we're gonna see you know, what this rune word is good for, shall we? So right off the bat, you will notice that the rune word is capable of being made in swords, axes, and maces. It's important that you don't confuse those two particular things, because maces does not mean all mace class weapons. That is a mistake that many people have made. So you cannot put this in, like, for instance, a scepter, because a scepter is not considered one of the mace classes, despite the fact that it literally says mace class on it. And this is stupid. They're basically subclasses of the mace class, and those subclasses do not function the same as the mace classes, so keep that in mind. Now, one of the interesting things about this particular weapon is that it is indestructible, so definitely make it an ethereal item. And we have a 30% chance to cast level 20 Bone Spirit on striking. Bone Spirit is a very interesting ability because it's magic damage, right? Magic damage is fairly unresistible. There's very few monsters in the game that have any magic resistance whatsoever. And if we go and we take a look at the Bone Spirit spell on the Necromancer, you will see that at level 20 we have a damage of 380 to 413, and that's pure magic damage. What I like to say about magic damage is this: multiply it by 2. Because elemental damage has so many resistances that more often than not you're attacking a monster that has 75% resistance to that particular element. And so what it's saying that it does is next to nothing, right? So it's like a fraction of what it actually says. But with magic damage does literally what it says. And so every time a Bone Spirit procs from this weapon, you're going to get 380 to 413 damage. And it's very nice. So we also have some other interesting effects here. We've got the Indestructible effect, which we've already talked about. We've got 50% increased attack speed, which is very, very nice. Having a bonus to your attack speed is definitely going to be good for a lot of characters. If you were to put this on a Shapeshifting Druid, that would be good. If you were to put this on a Zeal Paladin, that would be good. If you put this on a Frenzy Barbarian, that would be good. Very, very nice to have 50% IAS on a weapon, and definitely... good for a lot of builds to have that bonus. This also means that if you put this in an extremely fast weapon, you'd get even faster weapon. Like maybe if you put it in a Scourge. I'm not sure if it could go in a Scourge. It is a mace class. 210 to 340% ED, which is a rather large variable there. I feel like that's a pretty huge variable. You're talking about, what is that, a 90... and then 100, so like 130% variable on the ED. I guess because it's not super expensive, they decided they were going to put a really large variable on there to force you to have to re-roll it a couple of times, which kind of sucks. It would definitely suck to get a 210% ED after gathering the runes for this. But you could always put a Hell rune in the cube with a Scroll of Town Portal and remove the runes and try again, I suppose, if you had another set laying around. We also have 75% damage to demons, which is, I mean, it's okay, I guess. 100 to attack rating to demons. We've got Prevent Monster Heal, which is really nice to have on any character. You really only need one effect, though, so if this is your one effect, you don't have to worry about another one effect. Prevent monster heal literally does exactly what it says. It prevents monsters from healing. It is important to note that this does not work on a mercenary, but if you were to make this for a Act 5 barbarian, for instance, he would not get the prevent monster heal effect. We also have plus 10 to energy, which is a nice little boost to your mana pool, and then 10 to 15 magic absorb. Magic absorb is a raw, I mean just a raw and wriggling effect, okay? So it will absorb any magic damage that comes in and then heal you for that exact same amount. So keep that in mind. So if you have 15 magic absorb on this and 100 magic damage comes in, it's going to take 15 away. So it's only going to do 85, and then it's also going to heal you for 15. So it's going to basically do 30 points of absorption. If you really think about it, it's not just 15, because it's not just taking away 15, it's also healing you for 15. So it's 15 plus 15, which is 30. It also has Heart of the Wolverine charges, level 16, and Iron Golem charges, level 14, which is very, very awesome. Unfortunately for the Iron Golem, I'm pretty sure that if you are a non-Necromancer class, when you use the Iron Golem charges, they will unfortunately disappear when you leave the game. So if you leave the game and go back into another one, your Iron Golem will not follow you like a Necromancer's will. So keep that in mind. And there are 14 charges here, and if we go and we take a look at the Iron Golem with no synergies, we're looking at level 17. So he has a Thorns aura of 375%, defense 75, and a bonus defense of 595. He's not going to be extremely powerful without his synergies, I'm going to tell you that much. We also have level 16 Heart of the Wolverine, which is 20 charges, and you may want to make this item just simply for the Heart of the Wolverine charges. Now, it's important to note that the Heart of the Wolverine charges don't work if you take the weapon off. I'm fairly certain of this. And let me go ahead and switch over to the game for a second. And we're going to use these Heart of the Wolverine charges. So this is the Heart of the Wolverine. And as you can see, now we have the effect of the Heart of the Wolverine. We can't actually keep him, though. So unfortunately, if we take off the sword, he will disappear. So keep that in mind. So if you're trying to work this into a build, make sure you understand that you have to actually keep this sword on to maintain the Heart of the Wolverine. And if you accidentally hit the W key and you swap away, he will disappear. It's really kind of sad. I wish they'd give you a couple seconds, like a couple seconds at least, so that if you accidentally hit the W key and you came back to town, you know, it wouldn't be so bad. And if we go and we take a look at the skill, Heart of the Wolverine at level 16 with no synergies or anything, which I don't think there are any synergies for Heart of the Wolverine, is 130% to attack rating and damage plus 125%. So it's kind of like a half, a little. I don't want to say half. It's because might is 200%, I believe, when it's kind of a high level. This is I can't say 3/4 either, can I? It's about half a might. Let's just say half a might, a little bit over half a might. And it's just a nice additional effect. It's going to give you extra damage on your weapon. So when you're running around and you're attacking things, obviously, see I'm at 708 here. So if I swap off and the Wolverine goes away, I should be going. Let me try that again. So 708 to 919. There we go. So a pretty healthy boost to my damage, and if I was going to use this on a character, I would probably like to use the Heart of the Wolverine charges. The unfortunate thing about this, though, is that if you are using this in an ethereal item, specifically so that you can gain the huge damage bonus for Oath, you are going to lose the ability to repair those Heart of the Wolverine charges. So it's really kind of like a catch-22. If you put this in a non-ethereal weapon, you can use the charges. And if you put it in an ethereal weapon, you can't use the charges. It's really stupid, in my opinion. I feel like they should have made it so that it was something a little bit more realistic. Because when you put that indestructible mechanic on a weapon, you're going to make people want to put it in an ethereal item. But at the same time, if you create a situation where you want to use charges on an item, you don't want to put it in an ethereal item, and that sucks. There's also something interesting here with the magic absorb, since it's plus 15. I feel like if you use this in combination with a spirit, which also has magic absorb, you would have a really high amount of magic absorb on your character. Plus 15, and I believe the spirit has a maximum of plus 8, so you'd be looking at 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, so plus 23 magic absorb, which is a very high amount of magic absorb. You're talking about healing for essentially 40, or absorbing essentially 46 magic damage. Once you count the fact that it's taking it away and also healing you for it, so it's very interesting. I feel like there's a lot of characters that could get use out of this item because of the 50% increased attack speed and the massive amount of damage. I'm not really sure about the Heart of the Wolverine charges because you'd actually have to use the item. And I feel like the characters that would really want the Heart of the Wolverine charges would also want the damage. So I'm not really sure about that. Kind of a conundrum. Which I think is probably why I made it in a Phase Blade, so that I could use the Heart of the Wolverine charges, now that I think about it. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching these videos, and keep watching.